There is a band, which I will not mention because obviously everybody is getting offended these days if you mention them. They wanted to record songs for Christmas and they wanted it to be a live one take recording. So no overdubs in the studio, no one is coming individually to record his part. Everybody is playing together at the same time. There's a filming crew filming video for these songs, and I'm on the M32 recording multi-tracks of each instrument and each microphone that I will mix later. And I always like to record ambient mics. Almost always I find them useful. They make the recording sound more alive, more live, I should say, like you are actually there and it doesn't sound awkward or dry. And that's what I always advise you to do for your live stream mix. Hey, your church live stream sounds kind of dry and awkward. Put some crowd mics, turn them up during the songs, turn them down during the speech, and they always help the mix. Given that context, I mixed all the songs and I sent it to the band. Then the singer said, I can't hear the reverb. And there was reverb, okay? There was plenty of reverb in my opinion. However, just to prove my point, I added more reverb because that's what she wanted. And I sent it to her again. And in my opinion, that was too much reverb. I would never do a mix like that. And what was her response after hearing it? She said, I feel like I'm in a small room. Although, mind you, the reverb is huge, like she's swimming in reverb. So I was a little bit confused. Okay, I definitely know I don't need this much reverb, but why does she feel like she's in a small room? The room we filmed in and recorded in is not small, but it's not big either. It's like standard size room. If you put a band of 6 people next to each other and the filming crew, that's about, I mean, it's a medium sized room, but it turns out that it sounds kind of boxy. It sounds small. So after thinking really hard, I muted the ambient mics and all of a sudden the mix opened up. It sounded a lot bigger without the ambience. And I was a little bit surprised because in my mind, ambient mics always make things sound more alive and bigger. But in this scenario, the sound of the room was making the mix sound smaller because it sounds like a small boxy room. Although I EQ'd it and it's not very loud, it's kind of quiet, but it's there. But the fact that it is there, although I'm cutting all low frequencies from the mics to remove any kind of proximity so you wouldn't feel like it's very small and claustrophobic, I was still getting that sound of closeness, like it's really small, like I'm talking like this right here up in your ear. And that sound was coming from the ambient mics. So I muted them and all of a sudden the mix sounds very open. So that's the first lesson I learned. Ambient mics are almost always needed and make things better, but in some situations, they might make the mix worse. So never take anything as a hard rule, even if I'm saying it to you. Sometimes a really good thing can be not helping you a lot. Also, I needed to do some vocal tuning because it's a live recording and the likelihood of each singer hitting exactly the perfect notes, it's not very probable. So I have 2 options. Either use the Waves tune because I have this plugin, or use the Reaper Ria tune, which is free, comes with a Reaper, but I have no clue how to use it. So I decided to use that. First of all, I want to say it sounds really natural. I was really surprised. It actually sounds a lot better than the Waves tune that costs money. And I'm not saying this because this plugin comes stock with Reaper. It actually sounds more natural. And using it is really easy. I was just a little bit confused on the navigation at first because it's different from the edit page navigation. So this is the plugin. You can tune your guitar with it, or you can go to manual correction and you have now something like Melodyne, and you would check manual correction and it will turn on also track pitch, and you play your clip and the scroll wheel goes up and down the notes. If you hold control with the scroll wheel, it zooms in and out vertically. If you hold shift, it scrolls horizontally. And finally, the one that I couldn't figure out, which is zooming in. I was clicking on this little plus and minus arrow like a peasant. It turns out it's the Windows key or control on Mac with the scroll wheel. It will zoom in and out horizontally. And it's really easy. You can just click and drag somewhere. It creates a note and you can drag it up and down. And you can just click on it and hit the delete key to remove it. And something I learned with this one is if the note is kind of wobbly and the pitch is going up and down, instead of doing a whole note on the whole bit where it's going up and down, divide it. If you create a small section of the note on one bit and another section of the note on the other bit, and leave alone that really jagged up and down pitch wrong thing, it will not sound like autotune. It will still sound natural. And the best thing about Reaper compared to Pro Tools is that I was not putting the tuning plugin on the track itself. I was creating it on the clip. So I have many clips. I can cut the clip like so, open the effects with Shift and F, and put the Reatune plugin on the clip itself. And this way I can correct just one word or one phrase without having to apply the pitch correction to the entire track. And that made my job a lot easier. Because I have to tell you something, with the Waves tune, if you're so far ahead in the timeline, at some point it will not read the pitch anymore. That's something I noticed, because all these songs, 6 songs, sometimes we did many takes. So the recording length is about 1 hour. With the Waves tune, you have to bring the clip to the beginning of the timeline. But with this, I can just put the effect on the clip itself without having to render it. I can edit it later if it's sounding off, which is amazing. Third thing I learned is that people are really used to very compressed sound. So with these songs, because it's not like a hard rock band that needs to be everything very powerful and loud. It was soft music, violin, piano, guitar. So I thought, you know what? I'll keep some dynamics. I'll allow it to get louder and get softer. But when I sent it to them, they said, it sounds unmixed. What do you mean? Like, I automated every single track. I went and wrote volume automation for every track and panning and moving things around. What do you mean it's not mixed? And then I thought about it and I was like, okay, I'll just squash it with a limiter. And I did that and sent the songs to them again. They were like, it sounds really good. I should have known that, because I always say compress everything, don't leave anything uncompressed. And I was compressing the vocals and individual instruments, but I didn't squash the entire mix. But that was the sound they were looking for. I think it sounds okay. I would prefer if it was more dynamic. But unfortunately, I cannot show you the songs because I don't want to hear complaints. I'd much rather keep things vague. Although I really like to show you real life examples, but people get offended if I mention them. Or even if I don't mention their name or don't show their face, they might still get offended if I show some real work that I actually did. And if you're watching this and your feelings got hurt, I'm probably talking about you. So moral of the story, crowd mics are great, but sometimes they make the mix worse. So use your ears. Second thing is that Reatune is better than Waves tune, and Reaper is better than Pro Tools because you can apply real-time effects on a clip without rendering the audio. Lastly, that people are so used to compression that if your mix is not squashed, they will feel like it's unmixed. If you learned something new, make sure to hit the like button, click on the video on screen right now, and I'll see you there.